YouTube. This is a Volvo 240DL Turbo Wagon, and today I will be addressing a common transmission problem with Volvo 240s, which is not really a transmission problem, more so a cable problem. Now, my 240, at one point, just one day the gas pedal got really easy to press, and it started power shifting on its own. I know people pay for that upgrade, and why change it? Because it's a Volvo 240. It's not supposed to power shift. I don't even have a K-cam in it or anything, so what am I? I'm not worrying about high RPM power shifting or anything to that effect. And I looked into it, and upon opening my hood, I found out that my transmission cable is all loose and willy-nilly and won't go back in. It's a real nightmare. So when I would press the throttle, the cable would become farther and farther pulled out, and it wouldn't reset. See, look at this. Just ridiculous. So I took it to a shop, a friend of mine who owns a transmission shop. We put it on the lift, and we dropped the pan to see if the spring in the transmission was broken, which is a cable reset spring. And those springs rarely break, and it wasn't the spring that's broken, it's the cable. It frayed or something inside the sheath, and it's not working right. So if your Volvo 240 is power shifting, like my 245 is, and it's not supposed to be, check the cable first before you say your transmission is dead, because when we dropped the pan, the AW70 was fine. This transmission on this car, it's a 92, so it's an AW70L with a lockup torque converter, but that's besides the point. So it just turns out that the cable wasn't resetting. So today I'm going to replace the cable and see what happens. Alright, here's a quick view of our good old friend, the jack stand, on a piece of plywood, stayed the garage floor. Now notice, here's where I put the jack stand. On that little loop, on that bar. This is the factory jacking position, and this is where they tell you to put jack stands. Okay, to start this, you gotta remove Old Faithful, the splash pan on this thing. Sorry about the crappy lighting, but shitty flashlights is the way to go, I guess, when you're on a budget. But it's a couple fasteners, 10mm. I'm actually replacing the splash pan. As you can see, a lot of it is broken off, so I'm gonna drop this thing down and then jack the car up using the front cross member. Say hello to the transmission pan. Yes. And you see that? Right in the middle of it? Yes, that's a drain plug. How great is that? Since 1983, Volvo decided to put drain plugs on their automatic transmissions. Now there's a ton of hidden bolts. I'll attempt to grab the retarded flashlight of doom and show them to you. There is one. There's two in the front. A whole bunch of them along the sides, which I don't have enough room to show you. You might be able to see them over there. I'm sorry, I'm really crappy at this. And there's the dreaded dipstick filler tube. As you can see, mine was kind of leaking, so I don't think it'll be as hard to get off as the legends say. Yet we'll see. And there's a whole bunch of cursing and complaining. That's because it won't come off. Okay, for the record, the transmission drain plug is a 14mm, and it has a little itty bitty crush washer on it. Yeah, this one's kind of mulched. But yeah, you can kind of see the crush washer. It's that like double looking lip. And yeah, the pan is very soft, so when you put it back in, torque it down like hand tight, like slightly lighter than an oil pan bolt, but still tight, so you can feel like crush against the washer. But don't crush the hell out of the washer, because you'll destroy the washer and then you'll strip the pan, and that will suck. Okay, so after a painstaking amount of work, I finally got the pan off and the drain plug. I mean, that's pretty simple. You'll figure it out. It's just a lot of bolts and clever finagling of moving the pan. But here's what we're really here for. And my flashlight. It's stupid. Alright. So let's see if I can shine the light right on what we're looking for. I probably won't be able to, but I will try. Okay. See that? See that, like, spool-like thingy? You can, if you look hard enough, you can see a cable going through the middle of it. That's where the kick-down cable attaches. And then here on top of the transmission is the ghostly cable itself, conveniently between the exhaust header and everything else. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of finagling getting it through the engine compartment. And ooh, let's give you an underview of the beautiful valve body. How cool is that? Ooh. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take this spool. God damn it, it's really hard to line this camera up right. Well, you're supposed to take the spool and move it to full throttle and then knock the thing out. So I have to try and do that. Since I don't have a cameraman, I will not be able to take you with me. I'm so. Okay, just to conclude the whole video, I have replaced my transmission kickdown cable. I will not be posting the repair portions because I did not have a cameraman or a tripod, so it was a real nightmare trying to do this under the car with the jack and jack stands and no light, so it would have been way too much cursing for YouTube. But yeah, so I just replaced the cable. I routed it behind the head and around the header and put in the transmission and connected everything. And yeah, just to note, the old one is connected to a coolant line, you know, to allow the coolant to cycle through the engine while it is warming up and the thermostat is closed, the bypass. And or it's the water pump line, one or the other. But yeah, so right now the car, I have the line a little loose, so the car is granny shifting. I have to tighten it up so the car will shift at higher RPMs and slightly harder because it's barely using third gear. So most of the time I'm driving in overdrive, and I kind of just want to get the most out of each gear. So yeah, in conclusion, I've just replaced the transmission line, and yeah, that's really it. To adjust it, you loosen those bolts and then tighten one while loosening the other until you get like adequate tightness or looseness you want, and then yeah, that's really it. Then you tighten that bolt down. But yeah, see, it's a little loose. I just have to tighten the line up. But yeah, that's really it. And thanks for watching.